it was a lot of fun. Yep, I remember that very, very much. That was a lot of fun.
Well, you mentioned Peter T a while ago.
Yes,
and Brian Dawson says, talk a little bit about some pranks you and Peter T played on Guido.
Oh no, that's not good stuff. Well, he's gone, so he can't kill me.
Right. He can't defend himself either.
Yeah, we were probably the best one. We were driving somewhere, and back then it was me, Dad, Peter T, Kenyon Hill, O.T. Fears, and Todd Cronick. That was our little caravan that traveled around the world. And we stopped in a truck stop, and everybody's gassing up, and to get 7 or 8 rigs all gassed up and fueled, it's 30 minutes getting everything done, and people getting snacks, and Peter T's Mr. Dawdle. He don't get in a hurry for nothing. And the pace you see him walk across the parking lot of the bass tournament, that's the pace he goes all the time. Just kind of lumbers along real easy. And so 90% of the time, Dad was hollering at Pete, come on, get your big button here, let's go, and needless to say, they were walking through a truck stop, and those chrome naked lady pictures that they put on mud flaps?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So him and Kenyon and OT, they bought 2 of those. Well, back then, even now, but in BASS, when you went through the checkout line in the morning, now you're checking out, you're leaving. It's not a boat check. You are checking out to go fishing right then. And so you had to open your live well lids, to show everybody. And on the end of the BASS dock, there's 75 people standing there. Some of them are tournament organization people. Some of them are wives. There's sponsors out there. And needless to say, there's a lot of times Dad would get to his first fishing spot, and his live well lid's still open because he just flopped them open and didn't care. He'd idle by everybody and let them look in the live wells and stuff. Well, Peter T and Kenyon, they come up in the middle of the night before the tournament, because they know Dad checks his stuff the day before the tournament. He checks everything. I mean, he checks the live wells, he checks everything. And so they get up in the middle of the night, first day of the tournament, and they take those chrome naked ladies and they put them on the inside of his live wells. The adhesive that they put those on with to stick them on a mud flap, that's some good stuff.
Real good stuff.
Needless to say, the next morning, Dad's not thinking a thing about it. He's going through boat check. He just reaches back there, grabs them live well lids, opens them up, and a tournament director looks at him and he just laughs. And he goes, "Really nice, Guido." And Dad just shut him back down. He didn't know it was what had happened.
Yeah.
And Dad just shut him back down. Well, a couple hours later, when he catches his first bass, he goes back there, opens up that live well, and he's like, there it is, staring him in the face. When he got to the weigh-in that night, I've seen him madder a time or two, but every time I'd seen him madder than that, it involved some sort of jail time. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now. He was beating the hell out of somebody if something pissed him off that bad. So he opens them up, when he stops and get gas that evening. Most of the time we all stay in a big old house somewhere, and he stops and gets his gas, and I'm right over next gas pump over. He says, "Hey, come over and open up my live wells." And I go over there. They had left me out of it because they knew I would have told him, because I know what kind of a ass whooping somebody's going to take.
Yeah.
So I jump up in there and I grab his trash out of his cooler in his boat. And he says, "Hey, open up them live wells." He said, "They kind of stink." I reached back there and I opened up them live wells. And I'm like, I turned around, looked at him. I said, "I had no part in that." I said, "I seen them buy them, but I didn't know where they were going." And he's like, "Don't lie to me." And I'm like, "I'm not lying to you. I did not know that was going to happen." Needless to say, OT, we got back to the room, and OT was the first one that he came to. And he said, "Do you have anything to do with that?" OT said, "Oh, no." Well, OT couldn't look him in the face, and he said, "Yeah, right. You were dead in the middle of that." OT got his ass chewing. Then Peter T got his. Kenyon got his, and they just took it. They just sat back, took it. They knew he was good. OT made a joke about it. Dad didn't talk to OT for almost 6 months. I'm telling you, it pissed him off big time.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the best prank I ever seen played on my dad. I didn't play pranks on him. You could jack with anything that man had. Don't screw with that bass boat. That was his deal. That's his domain. Leave it alone. Oh yeah. You could mess with his fishing rods. You could do anything. Don't jack with that boat. That boat was perfect. That's the way he wanted it. Leave it alone. Don't talk about it. Don't ever touch it. Unless you're allowed. And oh yeah. It was. Yeah, there's things like that have happened over the years, but
it sounds like a group of fine, outstanding young men.
That's right.
Oh yeah. And they are. We had a great time. I mean, those guys, they're as much my boys' friends now as they are my friends. Because my boys grew up around them and stuff. Because we homeschooled and traveled with them all, and I mean, Peter T and Kenyon, they're a big part in helping my kids learn to read and stuff like that. I mean, they were just like a bunch of dads, helping out, and they missed their kids and stuff. And so, I missed mine that I couldn't leave them at home. They had to travel with me, and until they got old enough to play sports, and then we put them back in school and, so they could play in sports and stuff. But yeah, that's a great bunch of guys. I mean, my life would have been a lot duller if it hadn't been for all those.
Yeah, Brian, that was a great question. I'm glad you brought it. Can you imagine if they had live back then?
My dad would have killed 2 or 3 of them.
That would have been twice as worse.
If that would have got on film and somebody showed that, oh my gosh, he would have beat them to death.
All over Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely.
There would have been a couple cameramen drowned that day.
There would have been some houses burned down or
Here's
something.
the bad thing about it is he forgot about it. He didn't really forget about it, but everything kind of went, he got over it. He got his tackle ready for the next day. And then he went to check through the boat check the next day. They're still on there. He'd never taken them off. And he reached in there and he tried to peel them off, and he tore a fingernail.
Oh
my!
Tore it back, trying to pull them off of there. Oh, you want to talk about coming in? He came in and he chewed everybody's ass again that night. Oh, it was all over again. I'm like, Dad, I didn't do it. And that night he took a chisel and a hammer and took that off. Well, all it did was the white fiberglass on the inside of a Ranger live well.
Now has that shape.
Left the whole outline of the same naked girl where all that adhesive came off finally. So, oh yeah, he got home and he ordered a brand new set of live well lids for his boat.
I bet. Hey, so here's a question from DJ. I know you guys are going up chasing smallmouth here before too long. He wants to know, do you use one of those street cones to look under the water like the MLF guys are doing?